because we have the chairman of that committee in the person of Right Honourable Matthew Olori, very hardworking, committed, and very painstaking about this particular bill. It is a necessity. It's not just what we think we should have. It's a UNESCO expectation, and Nigeria is a signatory to most of those conventions. And again, it was adopted at the National Council on Information in 2007 that every state should have an archival center, archival agency. And somehow nothing was done until 2013 when, under His Excellency Senator Lee Elimoke, a Department of Archives was created in the Ministry of Information. And now, under the very dynamic leadership of Senator Professor Ben Ayade, with all the deliverables that we're seeing, with all the new innovations we've seen, it became imperative that we don't allow these things to just go online, social media, and very soon forgotten. There is need to have a proper record. And like I said earlier, Cross River State has a very rich history, rich cultural history, rich educational history, rich sporting history, rich political history. We are first in so many things. And it becomes extremely necessary to have these achievables recorded for reference. Now we have an administration that has decided to industrialize Cross River State. Many firsts have also been put in place. It's only reasonable to have these things properly recorded for future reference. Anywhere, anybody, any country, any state that loses its history is a failed state. Cross River State is a state that is determined to put the record straight. And when we have this bureau, it's going to be record keeping, hard copy, books, gallery, photographs, ICT materials, electronic gadgets, and actually it will also provide a storage for other organizations, even outside the state. So it's going to be revenue yielding, because when we offer the space for storage, we'll charge some money. So it's actually a bit late, but we'd say better late than never. This ought to have been in place much earlier. Cross River State celebrated 50 years of statehood in the month of May, and the history from southeastern states through the old Cross River State to the new Cross River State is so rich, is so robust. But we had a problem putting together the pieces. Once the archival bureau is established, we will have that kind of challenge. Into this public hearing, we in the Ministry of Information, we cannot wait to have a bureau of archives set up in Cross River State. It will be another addition to the dynamic Ayade administration.
On the establishment of records and archives, what is your expectations?
Well, like you saw it for yourself, archives is very, very important in generation. It's a unique institution worldwide, responsible for preserving historical heritage. There are current and non-current documents or records accumulated by natural process in the course of running the affairs of any kind. And like I said, look at Archibong State as a state that was created from Cross River State. They have a comprehensive historical background that can make reference. So if you are below 30 years or you're up to 30 years, you're taken from one stage to another stage, how what happened in a state which you claim is yours. But in this our state, we've seen that there is need, to have such historical record that will help us from generation to generation, and which our upcoming generation also will come out with ideas in trying to sustain what we have started. Because any person, any community, any person that does not have a history, a document that will make reference to, it means you are dead. You don't have the basis to even live.
Given today's world where children can only or are fond of going online to access information, what would the Bureau, when established, what is the potency, or what would be the potency of the Department of Education?
Yeah, that's the essence, that's the intention, that you can Google a thing today and then you get all information about, even if you're writing a project or you're also going to make reference to certain historical facts, you need all this. That's why it's important that online too is a major factor that will help us to keep these records. So it's going to help us to make reference, in subsequent years as we grow older, to help us also know where we are, where we were, and where we are going to.
So, being that as a state, do we actually have the infrastructure to actually accommodate this agency?
To an extent, we have a little, but it's not enough. Assuming we don't even have, that's the essence. We need to create one because of its importance.